What it do, Cyber World. It is your girl, the one and only Ash Brown, and this is the ashsaidit show. Over 1,900 episodes, 500,000 streams worldwide since 2014. All that is on account of you guys. So thank you so much for the shares, the cares, the dares. It all makes a huge difference and is the main reason why I am still doing this show today. Today, I have my very well-esteemed bestie. She's my sister from another mister, the wonderful Nora. Hey, Nora.
Hi, Ash. How are you doing?
I am great. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm a little stuffy, so please forgive me.
No, you're fine.
Get a little juicy sometimes.
Oh, my goodness. As we all do. Trust me. We're getting some of that over here on this side. I'm working with this, I don't know, like a sinus headache I got going on, but we're working through it.
Yeah.
We're making it happen. All right. So, Nora, I disclosed to you maybe a number of months ago that I want a cat. I've been wanting a cat for a long time, and now I just moved back to Georgia. I just got my place, and I want a little furry, or possibly not furry, friend that I can snuggle up with and take care of and just have that extra personality just around the house. I think would lift my spirits some because, as you well know, it's just there's so much stuff going on in the world and so many things that are out of our control. I definitely want something that is going to help to put me in a good mind space and enhance my life and not make it so crazy and stressed. So, as I spoke with you before, I don't want just a cat because, that's just boring. I can go anywhere, just get a cat, but I want a specialty cat, and I want a Sphinx or a Bambino. And for those of you that are listening, the Sphinx is the peach fuzz baby, all right? No fur, peach fuzz, and just cute and cuddly as can be. And the Bambino is a new breed that I think was founded in 2005. So it's a little over nearly 20 years old.
I've never even heard of those until you told me about them. And then I looked them up and they're adorable.
They're so cute with their little legs. Oh my goodness. And for those of you that are unaware, the Bambino is a Sphinx and Munchkin crossover. So somebody decided, hey, we want them to have a baby. Let's see what happens. And they crossbreed them and you get the Bambino. And so I was speaking with Nora about this, and first she's like, are you sure you want to get a Sphinx? And it's going to be super expensive. I'm like, well, you know what? I am going to do research. I'm definitely going to do some more research and find that, my little baby. But Nora, what do you think is the best route for finding a specialty cat like that?
So when I had looked for a certain breed of cat or a certain type of cat, I've gone to there's the International Cat Association. I think it's called TICA, T-I-C-A, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then there's the Cat Fanciers Association, CFA. And most of the time, and I say most of the time, I'll tell you why I'm saying that. They have a list of breeders who are registered with these associations. I don't know how these people get on the list.
Right.
Sometimes then again, it's hit or miss. So a lot of times, let's say I'm looking for a Berman. I like the fluffy cats.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm looking for a Berman. I'll find them on the list on one of those databases, but then I'll click and the link is broken or the information is out of date, or I'm contacting a breeder who is no longer breeding, like all of their cats have aged out. And then sometimes it's word of mouth. And then I've been to a few actual events where there's a show, a competition.
Yeah.
People come in from all over the states, from all over the world. I've met people from Ukraine, from Ireland with cats, and they show their cats and they win prizes and things like that. And if they also are breeders, They will give you information. Let's say that you meet somebody who's a Berman breeder,
Right.
but they live in another state. They can usually put you in touch with somebody close to you who is a reputable breeder. So you kind of have to explore different avenues to be able to get a good, reputable breeder that, keeps records, a lot of times with these cats, the inbreeding happens and they start to have health problems and physical defects that might make this a special needs cat.
Yeah.
You do have to do a lot of research, and there are ways to do it, but it takes a little bit of dedication to kind of weed out and find the right people, get in touch with the right people.
Yeah. Now, back to the cat shows, because we were talking about that also. I haven't actually been to one yet. This is the first time in a while that I'm actually at a job where I'm not, roaming the country at any given day or roaming the world at that. But what happens at these cat shows? Is it just like competitions? Are there vendors? Like, what happens?
The ones that I have been to have been combination shows and kind of networking for people who are looking and people who have litters that are ready to be adopted.
Oh, wow.
/ sold, because a lot of them, as you've seen, are quite expensive, the animals.
Yeah.
Certain breeds. So the ones that I've been to, you walk in, it's usually at like a hotel conference room or a ballroom or some kind of an event center, and it's a big room, and they'll have one section set up with a bunch of tables where the judges are looking at the cats and examining them, and people are watching. People are sitting in chairs, and it's like a spectator kind of event. And you see these beautiful creatures. They're just, we love cats. They're beautiful.
Yes.
And, depending on the breed, they're looking for different things. So you can go and watch the show and the competition. It's usually going on continuously, different categories and different, like the best Persian, the best Sphinx, and they're giving away prizes and things like that. But the other cats and their moms and dads that are not in the competition, they have their little kennels set up, and they'll have cards or a little what are the QR codes that you can scan so you can get more information about that particular breeder. And they're usually really friendly. Depending on the cat's temperament, you can go up and say, "Oh, can I hold this one?" Sometimes they have little babies, but they're not really showing it, but they're just there. And it's just like every cat fancier's fantasy. Walking around surrounded by beautiful cats and their moms and dads.
No, I know that the shows and stuff, they do happen in Georgia. I just never really, I never been to one. I never actually planned to be at one. So now that you've said that, I definitely have to start searching, because I know typically here they happen later on in the year. So I want to say maybe September, October-ish. They have some of those that are like downtown or midtown, but I will definitely put that on my list of things that I need to do. I've got to go see a cat show to see the little babies. Okay, so the next topic is one of the things I'm going to go over. One of two things that has really just been bothering me, just because it's frustrating, because there's so much mixed signals, messaging about it. And, shout out to Jackson Galaxy, because he's got, that's the cat fancier right there. He is the cat's meow. That's the standard. He is the standard. But I want to the very least. But I want to talk about cat food. All right? I want to talk about cat food. What do you typically feed your cats?
Okay, so Jackson Galaxy is going to roll over in his grave.
He's not dead.
But the cat, the cats that I have had, at certain times, I've just fed them Friskies.
Okay.
They liked Friskies dry kibble. That is the one that I've had the best luck with them not having any litter problems.
Right.
You know, they wouldn't get the runs. I personally, and this is just me, have noticed that if I even mix in a little bit of wet food, even with the kibble, they get the runs.
Oh, no.
And I don't know, you know, I've taken them to the vet and they say, yeah, you know, just feed them what they like. Cats are very picky, and you can't switch up the food on them from one second to the next. Even if it's, you know, the cheap, you know, bargain basement stuff, if that's what keeps them, you know, healthy and happy, and not, you know, pooping all over the place, then that's what you need to feed them. I will say that one time that I did have you see, and I used a breeder that didn't really have a good reputation. I purchased a Norwegian forest cat, and he was a kitten. He had already been fixed. No, he hadn't been fixed. I fixed him. But he was a kitty, and when we first brought him home, he smelled horrible. He smelled like mothballs.
Oh, goodness.
And I couldn't figure out if it, you know, where the smell was coming from. And then I noticed that it was his poop. His poop smelled like mothballs. And it was normal. It wasn't runny or anything.
Right.
I fed him whatever food the breeder gave me. And she said, you know, if you're going to start feeding him something else, you need to transition. You need to transition slowly into something else. I don't remember what, I think it was just like one of those pet store type of IAMs or something. So I did a little bit of research, and I found out that particular breed can have some kind of like an intestinal parasite that they might get from their mom. So I took him to the vet, and he was given some medication. The vet didn't detect anything, and he was otherwise healthy. But he said, I know what you're talking about. I've had that problem with some Persians and stuff. So he gave him something. But I did a little bit more research, and I went to this organic pet food store.
Oh, wow.
And I found this dry food, and I can't remember the name of it. But I read the ingredients, and it was all animal products. It didn't have any, you know, cornmeal or any filler.
Right.
And that fixed the smell. And he ate it. He liked it.
Now, do you believe in free feeding? Like, I had to Google what that meant, because I saw people referring to it in a Reddit a few days ago when they were talking about free feeding. Like, do you just like leave the food out and they just kind of come and go as they please? Or do you have like a set time that you feed? Kitty knows, 8 a.m., mama's feeding me. Noon, 5 p.m.
When I had my, the last one that I had was Finn, who was my Norwegian, and his lady love, Robin, who was an alley cat. And there were several people in my house, you know, me and my kids. Yeah. So one of us would always fill up their little bowls in the morning when we were getting ready to go to work or go to school. Right. So it wasn't that, and then we would just leave it there, and it was gone by the end of the day, and they didn't seem like they were hungry later on, or, you know, they weren't whining or anything. Right. I don't know if it's just that we were on a good schedule for them, but it's not like I put it out, and if they didn't eat it, I would take it away. We would just leave it there, because it was dry, so it didn't smell. Right, and it's not going to go bad. It wouldn't get yucky or mucky. Right, yeah. And then, of course, have water for them the whole time. And I got this cheap, they have really sophisticated, you know, electrical water fountains to keep the water fresh and circulating. But I just got a cheap little tank that you would fill it up, and it would just slowly dispense the water. And you would have to fill it up like every couple of days. My daughter uses that for her cat right now. And one for the feeder, because my daughter goes away on the weekends quite a lot. And it keeps the water fresh and the food going. Gotcha. But yeah, it wasn't like we actually timed it. We just made sure that they had food every morning.
Right. Yeah, and
Hmm.
that's the thing that I've been, I've been in this internal struggle trying to figure out. Like I've wanted for the longest. I've been wanting a Sphinx since as far back as I can remember. And I told you that I worked at a couple of animal shelters. So cats, their temperament, I get it. I love them to pieces. When they want to come and rub on you and love on you, I want to love on them back. The only drawback that I had was the fur. My clothes would be ruined by the end of my visits. And I mean, I remember just tossing out some pants like, oh, well, at least they were old pants. Or, at least this was an old top. So I'm kind of shifting my focus from the Sphinx to another breed, just a short hair, because the Sphinx, from what I've read up recently, they eat quite a bit. they they
Hmm.
eat quite a bit, which means they're gonna poop quite a bit. And the last thing that you want is for your animal to, start acting up or, not using the litter box because it's dirty and you can't keep up with them going to the bathroom. So I've been considering some other breeds. I think I told you about the Singapura.
Yes,
And
yes.
yeah, it's the world's smallest kitty. They're so stinking cute. And they seem like they're pretty short. Their hair is pretty short to where it's not going to be these long, luscious, fur pieces flying all around my house. And so I think that's one of the main reasons that I'm slowly kind of gravitating away from the Sphinx and considering another breed just for the fact of I don't want to go broke trying to feed my cat. That is not cute. That is not the business
Right,
that I
right.
want to be
And
in.
also because, you know, pure breeds, their their tummies are tend to be more sensitive than just,
Mm,
a regular alley cat,
yeah.
indoor outdoor type of cat. Like I was saying with my Norwegian, he had that issue with his poop, and I had never noticed that with any other, with the ranch cats or anything like
Yeah.
that.
Mm,
And that's one of the things that can happen. And then in terms of shedding,
yeah.
I've never had a huge issue with short hair cats. I mean, they shed, right?
Right. I mean, like
But
we all should.
it's not like these like clumps, and it's just different.
Yeah.
It's just a different situation.
Yeah. Now, with your Norwegian, did you have to use like a certain brush for him? Maybe on like how often did you brush him?
Well, I don't think he was purebred after all, because even after he got older, his hair was not that long. He was
Mm.
very silky, so he never
Oh,
got tangles in his fur.
yeah.
And there are certain long hair breeds that have a different, that their coats are made up of different layers
Mm-hmm.
and different, like I think there's one, is it the Angora that has like a waterproof layer, or is it maybe it's the Norwegian that I'm thinking of. There's a
Maybe
certain
the
type of long
Norwegian.
hair cat that likes to swim,
Yes, I heard
actually
about
likes
that.
water, and their
Yeah.
coats, you don't need to brush them because they're just naturally detangled.
Yeah.
They take care of themselves. So I never brushed Finn, and he
Oh.
was always looked great.
Living his best life,
Yeah.
I love it. I love that. All right. So I like the fact that because we hadn't talked about the feeding situation, but I love the fact that what you said makes sense, and then also what your daughter does with the automatic feeder. That is going to be super helpful, especially as I'm booking more events and I'm definitely going to be busy on the weekends and stuff. I don't want to, my little kitty be sitting back waiting and it's like, oh, well, I'm hungry. Where's mom? So
Right.
having an
Right.
automatic feeder is super
And
helpful.
when you think about it, I always think of animals as being, their first home or their first environment is out in the wild, because they are animals.
Yeah.
And if they're out in the wild, it's not like they're only going to go find a mouse
Right.
or a rat at 2:00 every day. Like, come on, they're going to eat when they're hungry.
Right.
They're going to eat when they need it. So either having it there, and then you're going to know. It's like, It's like being a mom.
Basically.
When you have a baby, my mom would always tell me, when I had my kids, I would say, well, how am I going to know if the baby's hungry, crying because he's hungry or because he's poopy or because he has gas or what? You're going to know. You will know what they need. Same thing with cats. You're going to know. When they, if your cat is hungry, they're going to tell you.
Yeah.
But once they get past the kitten stage, they don't eat that much. You don't need to have mountains and mountains of food and schedule 4 feedings a day. You're not feeding a freaking tiger.
Yeah.
You're feeding a little baby tiger. And they don't need that much.
Gotcha.
Not in my experience.
Yeah, no, what you're sharing, I mean, this vast wealth that, and that's why I wanted us to do this on a show, because you're giving me so much knowledge and so much intel that I know that there's going to be other people out there that are like, oh my gosh, wow, I never thought about it like that, So I definitely appreciate you sharing this vast knowledge with us today. I'm serious, Nora, because it's like, okay, this is the thing. Nora and I met in flight attendant school, and we've just been straight up just like sisters ever since. We met, we interviewed at the same time, and we just clicked. And when you meet people that are just good-hearted and just good people, you don't let them go. And I have been desiring a cat for the longest, Nora. And I've had people around me that are not in my life at all anymore, that would always oh, you want to get a cat? That's so weird. Why are you going to get a cat? You need to get a dog. Or why don't you get, why don't you get a... I'm telling you, just not been receptive. So thank you for being my friend, Nora. And thank you for embracing my weirdness when it comes to cats. Because that's just where it's at.
It's not weird. It's not weird. I know more people who have what's the word? They've been cat haters and then became cat lovers. Then I've known people who hate dogs and became dog lovers.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything bad about dogs. I've had some dogs that I really, really loved.
Yeah.
But if I had to choose between a dog or a cat, I would choose a cat.
Yeah.
And some people choose a dog. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's not a lot of love for cat people. There needs to be more love.
Yes, that's exactly. You hit it on the head, Nora. There's not enough love for the cat people. We gotta, I don't know if we're gonna start a club or what, but we gotta start something else. Okay, so before we get out of here, I've got one more thing that I wanted to touch. I knew we were gonna have a bunch of stuff to talk about. I wasn't gonna make everything, but because I knew this was gonna happen, right? We talked about this, but I want to talk about the other thing that makes me uneasy and I'm kind of nervous about is the litter. And I know depending on who I get the cat from, what they're using to obviously kind of convert to that, but what has been your experience in the different type of litters? Because they've got the clumping one, you've got the wood chips, you've got the clay. There's so many options. What has been your best experience with litter?
So I have used just the cheap that comes in a cardboard box, Tidy Cat kind of litter. I tried just once this, the ones that look like little pearls, almost they almost look like they're made out of plastic.
Right.
That triggered my asthma. Just pouring it out of the bag into the dish, into the pan.
Yeah.
I had an asthma attack, so I had to throw it away. I had to take it out of my house and throw it in the garbage before the cat even tried to use it.
Yeah.
The last one I used, and I really liked it, was a flushable kind. And I don't remember brands, but it's made from, I don't know, some kind of, it looks like, you know what it looks like?
What?
It looks like that cereal grape nuts.
Oh my goodness, I know what you're talking about.
Little hard, granule cereal.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Takes out your fillings when you eat it. Yeah, the litter looks like that.
Wow.
And I think they might have like the clumping and the non-clumping kind. It doesn't smell. It didn't have any dust, like what that other silicone, whatever it was.
Right.
It had a lot of like floaty dust. And it didn't have any perfume in it, because some of them have perfume to cover the smell.
Yeah.
But it seemed like, I don't know, it absorbed the smell. Oh, the main thing is it's flushable. So if you were good about picking out the poopy and picking out the wee-wee, a couple of times a day or in the morning, and then in the evening when you come home from work, you can flush it. And when you put it in the potty, you can see it dissolving.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, and I used it for a couple of years and never clogged up my septic system.
Yeah.
So it's flushable. And that means that this is what happens. It's kind of like when you have a baby. I'm going to compare it to having a baby again.
I know.
You can change your baby every time he poops and pees, and the baby's going to smell good, but your house is going to stink because you got those freaking dirty diapers lying around, right? In the trash can. That's what happens when you clean the litter box. You keep it clean, right? Because the cat doesn't want to poop in the dirty box.
Right.
And you don't want it to stink up your house. But unless you're going to go and bury it in the garden outside every single time you clean the litter box, it's going to be sitting in your trash can. So this flushable, that was the best one that I had. And that's when I had 2 cats living in the house.
Wow.
And you know how the more cats you have, the more waste you have, the more stinky it's going to be. And it did not stink. I liked it. I thought it was good. And I think it's like all natural. It doesn't have any, it's okay if your dog eats it, or, it was pretty eco-friendly, in my opinion.
Side note, I did hear that sometimes dogs will go in the litter box and eat the poo.
Okay, it's disgusting.
It's gross.
They do that, but there is a reason. There is a what's the word?
Like an enzyme.
There's oh my God, my brain just went kaput. There's a reason for it. It's a survival instinct. So when you're out in the wild, imagine these animals being out in the wild.
Right.
And they don't want any predators to know that there's any prey around. If you leave any poop, then the predators are going to know.
Oh.
So they eat it to get rid of any evidence of any living creatures.
Okay.
It's disgusting, but it makes sense.
It's gross, but that makes total sense, though. Huh.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Dogs are still gross sometimes. I love them. I do love dogs.
But they're smart.
They are smart.
It's like I said, you can't take the wild out of the animal. Cats are going to do certain things that puzzle us, and it comes from, their wild roots. Same thing with dogs.
Yeah.
And dogs are pack animals, so they're used to operating in a group, and they have to protect each other. So if I have to, they're thinking, not me. Yeah. They're thinking, if I have to eat your poop to keep, the hyenas from coming and eating us, I'll eat your poop.
Right.
So you can survive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gross. But it makes sense.
It does. It does. Okay, now back to the litter box situation. Did you have like a mat under the litter box for as far as like tracking? I've seen people like get real creative with as far as like the mat, because I was like, oh snap, I didn't think about that. Them tracking the possible, content. Leaving a trail from the litter box.
Of litter. I'm going to tell you, I've tried all kinds of mats. I've tried towels. I've tried regular bath mats. Nothing works. There's going to be residual. You're walking barefoot in your house, you're going to step on some litter. I'm sorry to say. You just got to fucking vacuum. Oh, I just cussed. Oh, shoot. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
You just have to vacuum it. You're going to bleep that one.
No, that's why we label the show E, Nora. All right, it's for everybody. And it's explicit sometimes. I love it. I love it. Nora, thank you so much.
You just have to vacuum. You got to vacuum, and that's, when you clean the litter box, you got to sweep it up or vacuum, because nothing works. Nothing like the little Sometimes there's mats that have like little plastic, it's like fake grass.
Right.
Doesn't work. Doesn't work.
Wow.
It's just a waste of money.
Well, it's good to know. Definitely good to know. But Nora, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We certainly appreciate you. And I mean, we'll have to do a part 2 because I didn't get to any of the other fun and interesting questions, dearie. Oh, so many wonderful questions.
We have so much to talk about.
We have so much to talk about. Not just about cats, just about life in general. But that's a whole another set of things. But thank you so much, Nora. Definitely appreciate that. It is. So the litter box. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you guys for all of your love and support. Thank you for the downloads, the shares, the cares. It makes a huge difference. And keep in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do, you look them square in the face. You tell them, don't believe me. Just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. That's what we're doing this for, the history books. Social media is nice, but real life is so much better. Until next time, you guys.